ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ श्रोत्रस्य श्रोत्रं मनसो मनो यते वाचोह वाचं सौ प्राणस्य प्राणः चक्षुषश्चक्षुः अतिमुच्य धीराः प्रेत्यास्मान् लोका अमृता भवन्ति so shrotrasya shrotram etc. and we said also that basically it has been clear, it is clear from this expression that Atma is really not a Shrotra. Shrotrasya Shrotram. The sixth case in the Shrotra, Shrotrasya, indicates an organ. But Atma is definitely not a Shrotra. But yet it is called a Shrotram because of a reason that it is the senses perform their a cognitive task. Especially let's say the hearing. That particular cognition takes place because of the consciousness. Otherwise they could not function. So ear could not reveal the words etc. Without the consciousness. And therefore, in a secondary sense, the Atma is called Shrotra. So the ear, basically the organ, will not have a status of a ear, without consciousness. And therefore, Shrotrasya Shrotram has been told in this way. And like that, the Chakshusha, Chakshu, etc., Manaso, Manaha, because of which, mind does a job of thinking and recollecting, etc., emoting. And this is how we have to understand. Now, we have to go a little into depth of this. As such, we have done it, but we'll look into this a little more. We'll go into the cognition and ultimately we'll find that what is self-revealing is this Atma, and other than that, everything is revealed by the self, and also they are variable. Consciousness, which is invariable, that is self-revealing, self-existent, etc. So we'll go into that. So if you look at any cognition, you find there is something invariable. In every cognition, so object which you refer as a this, is an object of your knowledge. So we can say it a little differently. It is an object of knowledge. Instead of that, I can say it's an object of consciousness. So object of consciousness, object of knowledge, object of cognition, same thing. It's the same thing. So we say here, it's an object of consciousness. So like, pot consciousness, cloth consciousness, etc. Each is an object of consciousness. And pot consciousness is a given form consciousness, like a flower consciousness, mobile consciousness, etc. So from the standpoint of each of the senses, we have a form consciousness, smell consciousness, sound consciousness, taste consciousness and touch consciousness. What is invariable in all? Well, consciousness is invariable. Taste consciousness, sound consciousness, touch consciousness. What is invariable? Consciousness is invariable. So, if your physical body is an object of your knowledge, well, you can say this body consciousness. So, the body is an object of consciousness. So, we have body consciousness, we have hunger consciousness, thirst consciousness, like with reference to prana, prana se prana, etc. Thought consciousness, right? So, emotion consciousness, recollected object consciousness. So, whether it is with reference to a form outside or the form that is seen you as a corresponding thought, well, inside. There is no difference as such, because in fact the thought consciousness is what is the form consciousness. If form is there outside and the corresponding thought is not there, well, there will not be cognition. And therefore, basically what is present in all varieties of the cognitions, varieties of the knowledges or varieties of the consciousnesses as such, sound consciousness, what is invariably present is consciousness. That's all. And that is called samvit. Puja Swamiji used to like that word, samvit. So it is a word for consciousness, which is invariable. So samvit eka. The consciousness is one alone in all these varieties of the cognitions. So objects are all variable. Sound, smell, taste, touch, etc. all variable. In that sound also there are variables, so much. So a given sound, well, then given sound consciousness, like a bird sound consciousness, and then music sound consciousness. So there also there are differences, but the consciousness is invariably present in all. So the objects are objects of knowledge, they are variable. So objects of consciousness are variable, but consciousness is one, which is invariable. So it is same it is same for time consciousness and space consciousness. Well, because for the space we need that part, so I'm taking into account that thing also. So you are aware of the space in terms of a distance, so there is space consciousness, and you are aware of the time also, like, so there is time consciousness. And so you can say very well past consciousness, present consciousness, future consciousness, etc. And if you recognize your own ignorance of course we recognize, of any given subject matter, or of ignorance of any object, let's say, then there is ignorance consciousness also. So both ignorance and knowledge, well, they are included as object of consciousness. So your memory is also included as memory consciousness. So I am angry, I am hungry, I am angry, I am having a compassion, etc., etc. So all this indicates even our consciousness regarding emotions also. So what is present anyway in one is one consciousness, and this consciousness is objectified or not. Everything becomes an object of consciousness, but whether the consciousness itself is objectified or not. So for that, of course, we have discussed. I will remind you here. So let's say I will utter few words, and you will see that you know the meaning of the word through the objectification. And therefore, if I utter a word, apple, immediately you know the meaning in your mind, because you have objectified the apple in your mind, right? So apple, book, pen, consciousness. No. Then your neighbor, desk, computer, consciousness. So bus, car, pickup truck. Because that comes to my mind now, pickup truck. Anyway, so there's a bus, car, bike, pickup truck, consciousness. Nothing. All other objects, all other words are revealed to you. You know the meaning of those words through when you have objectified in your mind. Definitely. So you know the meaning. And then, but when you have, when I utter word consciousness, well, you don't see anything. For the word consciousness, did you see anything? No. For the word apple, you have seen. For the word neighbor, you have seen. For the word bike, you have seen. For the word mobile, you have seen. For the word consciousness, did you see anything? No, I did not see anything. Then can you say that therefore there is no consciousness? Because you are not able to know. Maybe consciousness may be like a gagabugai. Gagabuga also, but it does not give me any knowledge. It's a meaningless sound. Puja Swami says, meaningless sound. Same way, does the consciousness may be meaningless sound, but you are not able to dismiss consciousness word without meaning. I'm sure. You all will say that it is not a meaningless sound like gagabugai. You cannot tell me. You feel that, yes, I know that, but I'm not able to objectify. Yeah, that's the thing. So you are very much aware. You don't consider the word consciousness a meaningless word. You do not see any object, but still you cannot dismiss it as a meaningless word, and therefore the meaning of the word consciousness without objectification must be you, because you are the one who cannot be objectified. You objectify everything, but you are the very subject. Subject is called subject. Subject is the one which is never available for objectification, and therefore the consciousness very well fits into the word you, that is I. That is I. So I, the Atma, here they have asked, Shishya has asked, called Devaha. That Devaha means this Atma or I, the subject, well, is the consciousness, which is the content of seer, thinker, goer, hearer, etc. Now let's go a little further. Like think of a cow, think of a horse. You know, when you think of a cow, there is a cow appear in your mind, definitely. When I say think of a horse, cow is displaced by the horse in your mind. Think of a tree, horse is displaced. Think of a crow, now the tree is displaced. So, I mean, all these objects are displaced. One object displaces the other. When I ask you, you think of a tree, does it displace consciousness or not? No. Right? When you say think of a tree, means automatically tree consciousness is there. When you say you think of a cow, cow consciousness is there. When you think of a crow, crow consciousness is there. That's correct. But objects, let it get displaced. Crow is displaced by the tree and tree is displaced by something else. But any word, any object is not able to displace the subject, the consciousness. It is not available for displacement. So, does it, I mean, it does not displace consciousness. Think of a Russian ignorance. Think of a Russian language ignorance, I am saying. Well, consciousness displaced or not? No. Even you are thinking of a ignorance of any given language, you are not able to displace the consciousness. Generally, we say consciousness means knowledge or cognition, etc., etc. And well, even you think of ignorance, the knowledge goes, no. This is not, so even the ignorance is not able to displace the consciousness. That's what I am trying to convey. So, think of an English language, which you know. Knowledge of English language. Well, still you are not able to displace consciousness. So, ignorance and knowledge, well, they are object of consciousness. Those objects are not able to displace the consciousness. Ignorance of a given language, well, requires a consciousness. Knowledge of a given language requires consciousness. So, knowledge and ignorance, both are not able to displace the consciousness. That's what I want to convey. So, remember something, recollect something. Well, what did you eat for breakfast? Suppose if I ask, you will have to really think. I'm sure you will not be able to tell me immediately. Anyway, so but whatever it is, let it take time. But does it displace consciousness? No. Think of the past. Well, does it displace consciousness? No. Think of the future. Does it displace consciousness? No. Well, what displaces consciousness? What displaces consciousness? Nothing displaces consciousness. Nothing displaces consciousness, and therefore you see a form, you are there. You hear a sound, you are there. You any given emotion is there, you are there. Well, hunger is there, you are there. Pranasa prana. Well, thirst is there, you are there. Right? Without you as a consciousness, well, where is thirst? Without you, consciousness, where is hunger? Without you, consciousness, where is form? Without you, consciousness, where is sound? So that is why this consciousness is never available. Nothing really displaces consciousness. I mean, no object can displace consciousness. But object of what? Object of consciousness. Object of consciousness cannot displace consciousness. That's what I want to convey. The object is the object does not have a capacity to replace the subject. That's what I want to convey. And therefore, any given emotion is there, you are there. Hunger is there, you are there. Thirst is there, you are there. Therefore, you provide them existence. Could you follow? Hunger is there, you are there. Without you, where is hunger? Therefore, hunger borrows the existence from you, the consciousness. Anyway, and hunger is revealed also through consciousness. Anyway, so basically, ear reveals all the things, but ear, of course, is revealed by the consciousness. And eyes reveal different forms, colors, but eyes itself are revealed by the consciousness. And of course, you can say even in terms of colors, etc., forms also are revealed by the consciousness. Anyway, so I mean, cognition is there, recollection is there, emotions are there, you are there. You are there all the time. That's how yesterday I told you, I am all pervading in every cognition, every form of cognition, in every emotion, in every piece of recollection, in every piece of memory, in every piece of cognition. I am all the time there present. I am there all the time. So basically, so consciousness cannot be objectified, one thing, and consciousness cannot be displaced by any object, and therefore what does not require to be objectified is I, the consciousness. Could you follow what I am saying? What does not require to be objectified is I, the consciousness. Just a minute. And that is what consciousness is. And so, as though everything is bathed in consciousness, is the object of consciousness. I mean, consciousness pervades everything, every object, and that is how they are known to us. They are known to I. So there is only, this is called consciousness. That is the I. That is the that is about this I only, about this subject only. Shishya has asked the question, and this is called samvit. The I is a samvit, consciousness, which is called chit, and consciousness is self-revealing. Now we'll have to see that thing also. Of course, we can see with I or subject is never available for objectification, and yet it is non-known. Without objectification, which is known to you, is self-revealing. In fact, any object is revealed by senses. Senses are revealed by the consciousness. But the consciousness is revealed by what? Consciousness reveals itself. Because you know the existence of a given object through when they are revealed by the consciousness. And therefore, all the objects require definitely revelation. But you are basically self-revealing. But anyway, let's little we through imagery we can find out what it is. So consciousness is self-revealing, referred to by word I, and everything else needs consciousness to get revealed. The category of object definitely requires a consciousness to be revealed, and consciousness, that is the subject, does not require any other thing to reveal itself, and therefore it is self-revealing. And to help us understand, in imagery is used definitely in our Shastra, the Upanishads, which are our source books. So from the standpoint of an eyesight, let's take that from the visual perception, visual cognition, etc. We'll take an example. Chakshushash chakshu, let's say that. Chakshushash chakshu is Atma. How? So that's what we'll try to see here. To see an object with your eyes, the essential requirement is light. So if the if the object is luminous, then like the sun, like the glowworm, or like the stars, or like the fire, etc., or a lamp, then you do not require basically a light to light them up. But the object is either luminous or reflects light. Two types of objects are there. One is a luminous, other is opaque. And so the object is either luminous or reflects light for it to be seen. So we have two expressions for them. The one which is the object which is luminous does not require light in order to illuminate, in order to light it up. Definitely for them we have an expression called bhati. And the object which is opaque, right, which requires a light in order to get revealed or in order to light it up, we call anubhati. So that is how we have. Bhati means it has been formed from the root bha. Bha means to shine. So bhati means which shines. That is one expression. The other one is anubhati. Shines after. Anu means after. Paschat. Anubhati means paschat bhati. Means shines after. That is reflects. Definitely, because light falls on it and get reflected and comes to your eyes, and then definitely you are able to see the object. You see basically a reflected light reflected through that object which is opaque. So sun, star, lamp, glowworm, etc. bhati, and this moon and all other objects, computer and mobile and all, they are anubhati. They shine after, they reflect. So like the Swami is sitting here, you see a physical body. Does it bhati or anubhati, this body? Shariram bhati va anubhati va? This is a question. Swamiji, anubhati. Because your body is not, is a luminous. Your body is not luminous, it's an opaque substance, and therefore the light of the lamp falls on it and get reflected, comes to our eyes, and we are able to see your body. So every opaque object that is not self-luminous is anubhati. Whereas a luminous object like the sun and so on, bhati. So this is the situation that we know. And Upanishad talks this particular fact and uses an imagery to launch into this process of cognition, and especially I told you is a visual perception or visual cognition. That's the example. So chakshushash chakshuhu atma we have to prove ultimately. So that's why we are taking it. So let's say now we'll start with this. When the sun shines, definitely we have to say bhati. Suryaha bhati. Because it is a luminous, and therefore it doesn't require light. It is not opaque. It doesn't require other light to shine it, to light it up. And therefore we have to use, as per our expressions, we have to use bhati. Suryaha bhati. But can the sun reveals its existence or not? That's a question. It lights up on its own, then it reveals its existence. What lights up on its own reveals its existence? Yeah, that's not correct. Its luminosity basically if will not be there if my eyes are closed. And therefore, basically the imagery here is with reference to, as I told you, visual perception. And therefore, only then that part you can say, Swamiji, I know its existence through other way, but let me not see it because I feel heat right now. And therefore, then definitely sun is there. But I am not going there. I am just taking an example of chakshushash chakshuhu. So let you confine yourself to a visual perception. So sun shines is luminous depending upon what? Sun shines or sun is luminous depending upon what? Depending upon the eyes, right? If eyes definitely are not shining, where is a question of sun shining? So sun does not shine if eyes don't shine, and therefore, its shining, its bhasanam is dependent upon the eyes. The person who doesn't have eyes, for them the sun doesn't shine. Even though existence of sun can be proved other way, that is heat and etc. But we are talking about visual perception. So sun is luminous only when my eyes light up the sun. And therefore now we have to change. Earlier I said the sun is luminous, therefore Surya bhati. But actually, because my eyes are shining, sun is shining. And therefore I have to say chakshuhu bhati suryaha anubhati. When my eyes shine, then sun shines after. Sun is reflected in my eyes and then I am able to see. Okay, so the eyes also have to light up sun, moon, anyway all opaque substances or all luminous substances definitely for the shining or reflecting requires eyes to shine. And therefore eyes bhati, chakshuhu bhati, and suryaha anubhati, chandraha anubhati. We have to say shines after. And so all objects shine after the eyes. So the pair of eyes, now bhati or anubhati. Now another question, go further. We decided chakshuhu bhati. Ask again, chakshuhu bhati va anubhati va? And you will have to say, well, without the eyes even the light cannot reveal itself. So in this imagery, the forms and colors including the sun, let them shine after the eyes. But the shine also, the eyes also, we cannot call them bhati or shine. Why? Because the mind has to be there. And therefore, basically, the pair of eyes also, anubhati, chakshuhu anubhati, manaha bhati. When the mind shines, eyes shine. When the eyes shine, sun shines or moon shines. But the mind itself shines. Our mind itself shines after whom? Well, if I shine, if I shine, the mind shines. And therefore, I shine is all the way. Therefore, I shine, so mind shines. When the mind shines, eyes shine. When the eyes shine, sun shines. So I shine whether mind shines or not. I always shine. Even so, let the people may think over that. No, let it may be so that maybe the mind shines and so I shine. No, I shine even when mind doesn't shine. That is why it's not correct. That's yesterday only I gave you this example. That's Pujya Swamiji used to give this example of Descartes, who has to tell that I think, therefore I am. So when the mind shines, I shine. No, sir. I shine whether the mind shines or not. And so when the mind goes to sleep, I shine and I get up also and say, I slept well. The mind has resolved. The resolved mind shines. Well, because of I shine. So mind is basically is not there when mind does not shine, still I shine. When the mind dreams, I shine, lighting up the whole dream world. When I am awake and my eyes are open, and the mind and the eyes light up the entire creation, all the forms. Well, so in every perception, basically it's a, what I want to convey is whether it is a form perception, sound perception, smell perception, taste perception, touch perception, or cognition of an inferred object also. You infer from the perception what is invariably present, what is all the time shining, and what is invariably present in all this perception, or in inference, or in presumption, or in illustration, etc. I mean, well, is this self-evident I. That's how they have used the word Devaha, Dyotanat Devaha. It's self-shining. It doesn't require anything else in order to shine it. And therefore the word Deva is purposely used, Devaha, not by the teacher, by the Shishya when he asked the question. So, and we have seen that Shishya must be well informed, it looks like, from the question. So, Div Dhatu is there. Div means to shine. So, Dyotanat Devaha, which shines all the time, is this Deva, which illumines everything. And which does not require any other source of illumination, is self-illumining, self-shining consciousness. How it is self-shining? Because it is consciousness. Consciousness does not require anything else to shine, and therefore, in order to make it shine. So the I shine all the time, all the way. Even as I told you, time shines because I shine, space shines because I shine. Even though time and space fold up, well, as it happens in the sleep, and while still I shine. To say that time and space are folded up require I, right? To say that they are folded up, well, definitely it requires I. And therefore, I is the one who is self-shining, who is beyond even time and space, who is present even in absence of time and space. That's what we can convey. So time and space are manifest, I shine, time and space are folded up, I shine, and so I consciousness lights up everything. And so I is self-evident, bhati, everything else, the entire world, and here of course we are taking the cognitions, etc. Anubhati. Shrotrasya Shrotram. So Shrotra, the organ, Anubhati. And Shrotrasya Shrotram, that Shrotra which is in the first case, is self-shining, self-revealing I. The organ is Anubhati, shines after, because it's object of knowledge. So it shines after. So Shrotrasya Shrotram, in that the Shrotram word, which is in the first case, is a self-shining, self-illumining subject I. And well, what is in the sixth case is an organ that is Anubhati, shines after. Same way, Chakshusha, Chakshuhu, Manaso, Manaha, all this, in all the varieties of cognitions, on perception, inferences, everything, emotions, recollections, memory, knowledge, ignorance, and hunger, thirst, and the physical body. Everything, what is invariably present in all is, and which does not require any anything to reveal, well, which is self-revealing, is this consciousness. So the world of form becomes evident because of our eyes, of course. World of sound becomes evident because of ears. And the world that is inferred by us, like a black hole and any other thing which you infer. You may infer even a fire on the hillock, whatever. Well, which is part of the world, becomes evident through your reasoning. But anything inferred also is because it becomes evident to you. What I want to convey is, it may be a perception or inference, everywhere the consciousness is all the time there. So when everything is evident to I, shining after that consciousness I, what is not evident to I? What is not evident to I? What is not evident to eye? Could you think anything which is not evident to eye? Need not be a object of a perception. It may be an object of inference, but it is evident through inference. It is evident through perception. It is evident through words. It is evident through absence, anupalabdhi. It is evident through illustration, right? That this bison is like a buffalo, but it has become evident to you. So you might have used any means of knowledge. That doesn't matter. Any type of knowledge, well, definitely. But in this world, there is nothing which is not evident to eye. Only object, so-called object in this world, that does not require any evidence for its existence is I. I repeat again. So there is nothing that is non-evident for the eye. Everything is evident to the eye, and I is evident to the eye. Right? I exist. Object exists because it is evident to me. So I say, object exists because it is evident to me. I exist because it is evident to I. I exist because it is evident to I. So I can say, I am self-evident. What is self-evident? Is self-existent. Because for existence you require evidence. But for existence of the I, you require an evidence of I only, with no other source. And therefore what is self-evident is self-existent. What is self-existent? Habba. Self-existent means its nature is existence. That because we are going to see that the result of this knowledge. Amritaha bhavanti. Amritatvam or immortality means absence of a non-existence. Yeah. Mortality means what? Existence comes to an end. Immortality means what? Immortality means what? Absence of this mortality. Could you follow? Absence of mortality. And so absence of non-existence. An absence of non-existence is possible when a given object, whatever it is, we are talking about I only, that I must be by nature existence. I is one who is never available for non-existence. And that is how we can understand this. So only object, well, we should not say object, but I put in inverted comma. The only object in this world that does not require any evidence for its existence is I. Everything in the creation, whether your imagination, fancies, memory, recollection, emotions, perception, inference, anything, well, requires evidence, and they are all evident by you, the I, the subject, and the subject is one which does not require any evidence for its existence, that is I, that is subject. So without the I being self-evident, nothing else in the creation becomes evident to you. And so, like you can take an example, the Swami is, you say because I see. The Swami talks because you hear. Well, your body is because, your eyes see or you see, whatever you want to say. Your mind is thinking about all this right now. Well, because you see it. And therefore, basically, everything is ultimately because of. Swami is because I see. Swami talks, well, because I hear, etc., etc. So everywhere there is because. But basically, well, do you exist or not? Oh, Swami exists because I see, you say. Well, but do you exist or not? Oh, I exist because let me ask to my friend, Swami, wait, I will call my friend and I will let you know. You exist because you don't require any cause for existence. When you don't require any cause for existence, you are self-existent. When you don't require any cause for your existence, your nature is existence. Fire is hot because fire is hot. Yeah, please understand this. This is all Pujya Swami, his words only. Fire is hot because fire is hot. There is no cause. So, do you exist or not? If I ask you, you will not go for the cause of it. You immediately say, I exist. I say, give me reason for your existence. You say, I exist. Whether you want to believe or not, Swami, believe or go. I exist because I exist. My nature is existence. I am self-existent. That is what it is. I am self-existent, self-evident, self-revealing. What is self-revealing is self-existent. What is self-existent is self-revealing. But what is self-revealing? What is that self-revealing? Self-shining. So remember now, that's how we have taken that imagery. We have taken the imagery of that bhati, anubhati, etc. and ultimately we came to know I is the one who shines all the time, and other than that everything shines after. So you do not have to consult anybody for your existence. So definitely, so you can understand now that the self is beyond the senses. When we say, this is the reason, because it is not an object of the senses. Therefore, shrotrasya shrotram. The senses exist, senses function, their respective task, but because of the one that is all the time present, all the time existent, that is the subject. And that's how, if you are not that itself is a wrong thing to say, but I am saying what is existent, I cannot tell even the possibility of a non-existence, I cannot tell. But suppose if I say, if I don't exist, well, everything doesn't exist. So-called all objective world doesn't exist. So-called objective world also does not get revealed. I am the one self-existent, therefore everything borrows the existence from me. Everything is revealed through the me. They become conscious, and they means what? Senses, I am talking. Senses become, the senses themselves are able to reveal varieties of the objects because they become conscious. And on account of what? They borrow the consciousness from me. They borrow the existence from me. So I the subject, the consciousness, Devaha is Shrotrasya Shrotram, Chakshushash Chakshuhu, and Manaso Manaha, and Pranasya Pranaha, Vachoha Vacham, whatever you want to say. You can add some more. Padasya Padaha. You can add everything, you can add. And therefore, so it is not an object of senses. Atma is never an object of senses, in the sense that you do not need to prove the existence of I through the senses. I don't require senses to prove my existence. I don't require any sense basically to prove my existence and to get revealed. I am the one who reveals them. They cannot reveal me. I am the one who gives the existence to them. They have a borrowed existence. They cannot lend existence to me. Could you follow? Shrotrasya Shrotram, Chakshushash Chakshuhu, Manaso Manaha, etc. etc. So, this is how, so in this world, this Jagat, there is only one thing that is self-revealing, and that is you. Now remember Pujya Swamiji's words, you are very unique, really unique. You are really unique, in as much as entire world depends upon you for its existence. Entire world depends upon you for its revelation, for its illumination, for its evidence. And that is, you are the only one which is, consciousness lends existence and revealed also, make them evident, revealed, etc. So in every revelation, consciousness, has to be present. Just as in every visual perception, light has to be there. So that is the imagery. But the light of the imagery is given up here, and we have seen the another light. We have gone to another light which illumines even so-called light. Right? Because sun shines on account of I, the light, which is a real light, which is actually shining on its own, and all other lights, luminous objects also shine behind me. So I am the Jyotisham Jyotihi. Pujya Swami used to call it Jyotir Jyotihi. Jyotir Jyotihi. Jyotir Jyotihi means it is the light of the light. Even all the lights are Anubhati, shines after the I who shines in its own glory. So light of consciousness, light of light, Jyotir Jyotihi, which is always there in every revelation, and revealing itself all the time, because that's its nature. What can you do? It reveals all the time. Senses are there, it reveals. Senses are resolved, it reveals. It reveals what? Reveals the absence of senses. Mind shines, reveals. Because it is I who reveals the mind. But if mind is resolved, still I shines. I shine. So ultimately in every revelation, this I is shining all the time, revealing itself all the time. There is never a time when you can think of the absence of I. Don't go by that I sense. That is a part of the mind. When the mind dissolves, that I sense resolve. I am not talking about that. I am talking about you right now, the real I. Even the I of the I. Even the ego, so-called ego, the I sense arises. I of the I. Yeah. Because we already told, so I need not discuss. Manaso Manaha, I have already told us. Manaso Manaha includes everything. Ahankara also. Ahankara is nothing but the I thought. So it is. Now please tell me, is this Deva, is this Atma to be experienced or recognized as it is or not? It is recognized. Because it is always there. If it is always there, it is all the time, it is always there in all the experiences. So therefore I don't require to experience the I. I require to recognize the I. All perceptions, inferences, presumptions, all emotions, everything, memory, knowledge, ignorance, all are objects of your experiences. And definitely in all the experiences, the I is always invariably there, and therefore there is no question of experiencing the I. There is a question of recognizing I as I. That's all it is required. And therefore, people who talk about experience, etc. and so on, do not understand even this much, that the consciousness by which every experience is revealed is present in all the experiences, all the time it is present, and all the teaching is about this consciousness, which is present in all the experiences, and which is self-shining and self-existent, which is Sat, which is Chit, which is complete, which is limitless. That is Satchidananda, which is about which the student has asked the question, which happens to be the I. Anyway, so that which is not an object of consciousness is the self, that is self-revealing, self-evident. And if consciousness is the nature of I and is not recognized as such, then it is seen from the standpoint of the common mistaken confusion. I am the body, I am mind, I am this, I am that. So basically, because consciousness it is present in everything, and therefore from that standpoint, of course, when you say I am the mind, definitely I, the consciousness, has to be there in the mind, and it is there because it's pervading everything. It is pervading everything. Everything is just it's an object of consciousness and non-separate from it, and therefore wherever the object is, consciousness has to be there, and therefore that is not the question. The question is basically whether that I is a real I or not. So we should say, no, I am not the mind. I am the one who reveals the mind. I am Manaso Manaha. I am not the seer. So I am not just in a Chakshu. or I am not a chakshu. I am chakshusha chakshu. I am eye of the eye. I reveal the eyes. Because of me, the eyes do the function of revealing forms and colors, etc. I am not hearer as such. I am hearer in one way, it is okay, but that's not the reality about me. So when you say I am hearer, I am present in the ears. Well, but definitely I am the one who is a shrotrasya shrotram. Well, because of me, the our sense organ, and that is organ of hearing, is able to reveal the words. So you should say that way. In a secondary, I mean from the standpoint of this organ, you may call yourself, well, that I am a hearer, I am a seer, etc. There is nothing wrong, because consciousness is present in all the cognitions. So you can tell from the particular cognition standpoint, well, that you are a seer or hearer or smeller, etc. But basically you are shrotrasya shrotram, chakshusha chakshu. That's your reality. You are not the seer. You are basically the one, you are just a consciousness in whose presence the eyes do the job of, as though prompted, do the job of seeing the forms and colors. That's what we have to understand this. And well, of course, now is little one more point. This invariable consciousness, of course, is Atma, I understood. But where does you draw the line? Now understand. Where does you draw the line between this all variable objects and this invariable consciousness, the subject? Where does you draw the line? That this is all objects, Swamiji. Everything, you said everything becomes evident because of you. They are all objects of your knowledge, objects of consciousness, and consciousness is you. Okay, correct. I am the subject, the consciousness. All others are objects. Where is the boundary between the two? That is the question. Where is the boundary? So there are two questions in this actually. First question is, can an object be separated from consciousness by an intervening object called space? Because if you say this is a boundary, this side objects of your consciousness, that is you, and here this is consciousness, subject. Well, if you draw a boundary, definitely the intervening boundary is nothing but it is space, right? Space is the one which separates everything. When you think of any two things, independent things, you will automatically have to think of space. Try anything. When you draw a boundary between two things, you will have to imagine, without imagination, in fact, you imagine automatically space. So this is the first question. Can you draw can an object be separated from the consciousness by an intervening space? Why not? Or is the object itself included in the consciousness? Either way, two possibilities are there. Either they are separate, either the object is non-separate from the subject. What do you like? The way you like, we go ahead. Let the teacher of Kenopanisad says whatever it wants to say. I would like to go that the object is non-separate from the consciousness, and therefore there is no question of imagining the space. In fact, if you say the object and subject are separate, it is object of knowledge, I am the subject, consciousness. It is object of consciousness, I am the subject, the consciousness. And like that, if you draw a boundary between object and subject, and that boundary will be always in space, but the space itself is an object of consciousness. Now what will you do? That's how we have covered. Space and time always are the objects of consciousness. I have already told you. Therefore, the space itself is an object of consciousness. Then the object in the space is automatically also within consciousness. Am I right? the space itself is an object of consciousness, then anything in the space is automatically within the consciousness. And therefore, basically, like you say, that the moon is in consciousness. Moon is in space. Right? Moon is in space. Moon is in consciousness. Space is in consciousness. Then I can say moon in space, moon along with the space, or space along with the moon is in consciousness. Then another headache. If this object were itself included in the consciousness, if the object is always the same, well, then that one object becomes the attribute of the consciousness. Like this color is all the time, suppose, associated. This color is in the clip, that substance, all the time. Then I can tell this particular color, green color. So green is an attribute of the clip, because the green is all the time in this clip. Can I write? Am I right? So basically, if a particular object is all the time remain in the consciousness, then that object becomes the attribute of the consciousness. That's never so. Like sound is in consciousness, sound consciousness. Sound is in consciousness. But then smell also is in consciousness. Taste also is in consciousness. And touch also is in consciousness. So no given object, sound is an object of consciousness and smell is object of consciousness, but sound remains in consciousness, then definitely I can call the consciousness is savishesham. Consciousness has an attribute called sound. But no, sound goes, touch comes, touch goes, smell comes, smell goes, and taste comes, that goes, perception goes, inference comes, inference goes, presumption comes, that goes, memory comes. No given object of consciousness remains in consciousness forever. Basically, consciousness is free from all the attributes, which are nothing but the objects of consciousness. They come and go, they are temporary. Consciousness is free from all the attributes. If you remember, we started the Kenopanisad, then I said you that basically, this the inner thing, 5 features. One of the feature we have discussed also, that any inert object has attributes. Those which possess attribute is the inert object. That we have done like this. That which is object of knowledge is inert. That which has attributes is inert. That which comes and goes is inert. Like that I have told you. So so that which possess an attributes is an inert object. Well, consciousness does not possess any attribute. Consciousness has to be attribute free, and it is free. All the attributes as though come and go. I mean, as though they are there, and they come and go. Therefore, consciousness does not depend upon any object, nor does consciousness have any objects as attributes, and therefore basically consciousness is free from attributes. So even though everything is an object of consciousness, everything depends upon consciousness, but consciousness is basically free from all the attributes. Therefore all the attributes, all the objects are mithya, non-separate from consciousness. So that is why they are in consciousness, correct, but they are not real attributes of consciousness. That's what I want to convey. And therefore they are just incidental attributes, while the consciousness is one and free from those incidental, those attributes. That's how they are incidental. And therefore, whether they are there or not, they cannot they cannot add up anything. When they go away, they cannot subtract anything from the consciousness. Could you follow what I am saying? And so, therefore, if sound is there, sound consciousness, of course. Sound is in consciousness. But if it goes, well, consciousness does not become less, etc. Sound comes, consciousness become more. No. No increase or decrease, because they are mithya attributes. They are incidental attributes. And therefore what is mithya cannot add anything, cannot subtract anything. And therefore, how can you say mithya cannot add anything? Now how to, several times we discussed this, right? My reflection in the mirror is there. Well, it does not add anything to me, or it does not subtract anything to me. That's how it is. It is non-separate from me. Its existence is borrowed from me. It is revealed because of me. Yet it cannot add anything. It cannot subtract anything. And that is how you bring only 1 cup of tea. Even though my reflection is there, you don't bring 2 cups of tea. Right? And therefore, no addition, no subtraction. And well, that is how. So the shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manaha, etc. Even though all these organs, etc., they are non-separate from I, the consciousness, which is invariably present in all, which is all the time present, but they cannot, even though they are non-separate, they cannot add in consciousness. They are incidental attributes, and even if they are not there, I shine on my own glory, without any subtraction. I am a nirvishesha vastu. I am free from all the attributes and shine in my own glory. So this Deva is basically self-revealing, self-shining, all the time present consciousness. That is the subject about which the student asked the question. Okay, so now this is, I think we have done enough of it. And knowing this, well, we have to add this word now, Gnatva. Bhashyakara himself tells, I will refer to that Bhashyam tomorrow. Gnatva, Bhashyakara says add now. So because I told you the 3 things are there here. One is the Swarupam of the Atma is discussed. Second is the, well, Jnanam of Atma, Atma Jnanam is discussed. And the third is the result of Atma Jnanam is discussed. Now Swarupam Atma we have finished, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manaha, etc. The Deva is nothing but this ear of the ear, eye of the eye, mind of the mind, etc. Now, knowing that such a Atma, well, one becomes free and gains immortality. That part we'll discuss tomorrow. So, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.